Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to this week's Duchan Method, weekly online live, where I attempt to demystify the mind body connection so that you might attain optimal health and also so you might use these tools in your own life. So every week we come together, every Monday, 11 a.m., we come together. And what I invite you into is what I call a circle of creation, where we might share, exchange, and more importantly, to use this very simple three-step system that has been highly effective for me throughout my entire career. And that is to acknowledge, to engage, and support one another into mindful communication so that we might discuss all of these mind body alignment topics that we share here on Mondays. So I want to say welcome to all of you. If you're here, say hi in the comments. Good morning, Elise. Good morning, Sophia. What a pleasure to have you all here with me this morning. And so we continue. This month is all about the vagus nerve. So we continue our research, our time together in exploring this amazing system that really helps to either regulate an entire sense of well-being throughout your body, or if your vagus nerve is deregulated, and that's true for many of us for many reasons, then we tend to have difficulty sleeping. We can have mood swings. We can also have digestive problems. And if you remember from last week, I showed you specifically where the vagus nerve moves throughout the body. So you really get a sense that this amazing nerve really does regulate your entire relationship between your body and mind. In fact, what we said last week was that 80% of the fibers in your vagus nerve communicate from the gut, from the body to your brain. 80% of the fibers in your vagus nerve. So the direction is from the body up towards the brain, and only 20% of the fibers and communication pattern occurs from the brain into the body. So why is this important? Because when I share with you about mind-body alignment work, or we can also say body-mind alignment work in this case, particularly with the vagus nerve, I want to invite you to develop a relationship with sensation. And developing a relationship with sensation is not naturally simple or easy for most of us. Most of us were not taught to tap in deeply to our bodies. So we talk about intuition. Everybody has a sense of intuition. Everybody has a sense of what a gut feeling is. And should I listen to my gut? Should I listen to my intuition? My answer is always yes. You should always listen to your gut and to your intuition, because your body is the first source of receptivity, meaning energetically, when something happens in the world, if you're watching something on your phone, or if you're watching television, a movie on your computer, if you're communicating with someone else, another person in real time, your body picks up energetic fields way before your brain does. And so your gut, your body ingests, feels these energetic fields and responds to them. In this case, we're talking about the vagus nerve, will communicate from your gut to your brain. So the brain's job is to really keep you very busy, is to really keep you alert into what's going on. then it moves you into a process of, doubting or asking questions about, am I doing the right thing? Should I do this? Should I do that? So the brain kicks in, and a lot of the time will disturb your initial connection to your body, which is guiding you into making better decisions in your life. So this monkey mind, you've heard this expression, the monkey mind, the brain is always very busy with, pushing ideas in, or questions or doubts, or having to review. And what we say in life, and you've heard this before, is that people will say to your parents or friends will say to you, trust your gut. Don't overthink this. And this is what we're discussing this month with the vagus nerve, to really develop a much deeper relationship to your body felt sensations. And today in particular, I wanted to share with you the relationship between having a healthy, stimulated vagus nerve and your capacity for deep, comfortable, and restorative sleep. So let's review just a little bit from last week. Your vagus nerve is known as your 10th cranial nerve, right? This is the one that regulates almost all of your organs. It starts at the 10th cranial nerve at the bottom of the spine. It moves through either side of your body and connects with most of your organs. It is the part of your body that is in relationship to the rest and reset part of the body, which is very much related to sleep. Also about relaxing, being able to go into a state of relaxation in your body. And sometimes relaxing can be just as effective as sleep. But it's super important to understand that sleep is the time when your entire system gets a chance to restore itself. If you are not sleeping, for sure you have a deregulated vagus nerve. So let's talk a little bit about what an overstimulated vagus nerve can how that might show up in your body, right? What kind of symptoms? Well, the first symptom, if you have an overstimulated vagus nerve, is that you're going to have heart-related symptoms. So you might have your heartbeat might beat more quickly than natural, or it might beat more slowly than it should. So you may develop heart conditions if your vagus nerve is overstimulated, and that can happen if you're not having a good night's sleep. The other thing that is super important to know for anyone out there who's watching this, if you have any type of digestive system issues, gastrointestinal issues or problems, that is very, very much related to your vagus nerve. And it's so important to understand this, because you can develop some pretty significant acid reflux or just reflux in general when you have digestive or gastrointestinal problems. So just to be really clear, anything that has to do with digestion, and digestion is a rather complicated process in your body. How do we help to regulate your vagus nerve is to start eating better foods. As soon as you start to eat live, better foods, lots and lots and lots of vegetables, this helps to cleanse your digestive system and therefore helps to promote health for your vagus nerve. Does that make sense? Hi, good morning, Chelsea. Pranjal is here. Liz is here from New Jersey. Hi, Liz. Welcome. I'm so happy that you're here. Okay, so if you have any questions or comments as I'm speaking, don't be shy. Write it in the comments. I'm just going to keep going a little bit as to, what other symptoms might show up if you have an unregulated vagus nerve. They may show up as respiratory problems. If you have an excessively stimulated vagus nerve, you may have issues with breathing problems. So shortness of breath, shallow breathing, feelings of suffocation when you can't catch your breath, when you can't catch your breath, excuse me. Also, another sign is when you experience ongoing sighing. You can't stop sighing or yawning. That is a sign of an unregulated vagus nerve. Regular sighing and yawning is really good. Over sighing and yawning can be a sign of a deregulated vagus nerve. Also, dizziness or fainting. So, if you're someone who's experienced bouts of dizziness or fainting in their lives, just know that that might also indicate that you have an overstimulated vagus nerve. If you have sometimes lightheadedness, I remember was a client just yesterday who was telling me about this, that she frequently feels a little bit lightheaded. And so she has to stop and really focus her attention in order to regain present awareness. So just notice if you have feelings of faintness. And, sometimes that might be also related to heat. Our vagus nerve gets overstimulated if it's too hot. So just be mindful of this, because if that's the case, certainly I'm one of those people who can get overheated, especially in the summertime. Like right now in New York, it's really hot. So I make sure that I keep myself in cooler environments, or that I will apply a cool towel to my head during the day, just to help to stimulate my vagus nerve, right? So as soon as I put a cold towel to my head, my nervous system relaxes. And excessive sweating can be an indication of an overstimulated vagus nerve. So you want to be mindful. If you're sweating a whole lot or more than usual, if you're a little bit out of breath or more than usual, just know that you're pushing your vagus nerve a little bit to the edge there. And if also, for example, you don't have a good night's rest and you wake up the next day and you feel a little bit lightheaded, you're sweating too much, these are all signs that your vagus nerve needs some TLC, tender, loving care. If you are someone who is overly emotional, if you're overly emotional, if you get very sad, or if you get very affected by other people, if you have psychological symptoms of anxiety, if you tend to worry a lot about things in your life, this is a deregulated vagus nerve. So to really be mindful, if you tend to be moody, if you get worried about what's going to happen today, if when your spouse gets anxious, you tend to get overly anxious as well, if you take on other people's emotions and feelings, you will probably deregulate your vagus nerve. So just signs to look for. And finally, one last piece here. If you have particular sensitivity to sensory stimuli, right? If you have an overactive vagus nerve, that will lead you to a heightened sensitivity to sound, to light, or any type of other sensory input. For some people, fireworks are very triggering. That can deregulate your vagus nerve. So things that you might not think about necessarily might be that they actually affect you in a way where you are overly stimulated. And it makes it very difficult for your vagus nerve to be in a state of calm, to assist all of your organs in working together. I know for myself, I have a very hard time being around large crowds. If it's too bright, like a lot of big stores, if I ever have to go to Home Depot or some sort of huge mall, which I tend to not end up in, but if I ever do, I immediately notice that I start to get anxious. So that's a sign that my vagus nerve is deregulated. So I try to move in and out of those places as soon as possible. This is why I'm always encouraging you to spend some time in nature every single day. This is why I'm encouraging you to roll out of bed and to immediately go outside to get the first light of day. That helps to regulate or the proper term is to stimulate your vagus nerve in a positive way. So it's not overstimulated, it's just stimulated in a way where it helps to balance your system. It helps to calm your organs. And of course, if your organs are relaxed, they're all doing what they're supposed to be doing in the body. I cannot tell you how many times with clients, they'll come in and they'll have either some sort of skin condition, they might have acne, they might have a cold sore. Sometimes they'll have a little bit of a dry patch in their scalp. Sometimes they will have diarrhea. And it's not like a huge thing, but people always tend to ask me, well, that couldn't possibly be because I didn't sleep well last night. Yes, all and everything that happens to your body that is deregulated. If your tooth aches, if you're someone who suffers from bad breath, that means that there is something going on in your internal system, in your organs, that is deregulated. Okay? Does this make sense? I'm just going to check in here. Hello. Franjal says hello. Yes. Riel Henry says hello from sunny Colorado. Wow, you are in Colorado now. You certainly get around. The vagus nerve is incredible. It does so much. It feels as it is the core of our human software. Certainly one of the core mechanisms to, I would say, our human ecosystem. And it literally looks like that, right? I don't know, Nelson, is it possible to bring up the image of the vagus nerve as we had it last week? Can you show it up here? I didn't prepare you for this, but if you can show the image of the vagus nerve, that would be super helpful. Do we still have it here? Anyways, if you can, Nelson, try to bring up the vagus nerve image just so that we can really get a good rinse of the eye. It helps. It always helps me. I'm very visual, so it always helps me to see what I'm talking about. Pranjal says, thank you for introducing vagus nerve to us. It now becomes my best friend. Yeah, tender loving care, TLC. So for me, the more we know about our human bodies, the easier it is to be able to identify what's going on when something is off. So to just really be present to sensation, because now you have a direct link, you know where you can tap into, you can check into, which is if you have a deregulated vagus nerve, you might be excessively sweating on any given day. If you get in a confrontation with your beloved, you're going to feel activated. Your vagus nerve is going to be deregulated. So you have an extra tool now to really check in with yourself when something feels off in your body. Okay, my friends, so let's keep going. So first we kind of identified some of the symptoms, right? Again, what can a deregulated vagus nerve show up as? And now, what's the fastest way to calm your vagus nerve? So the first thing I want to talk about today is really your capacity to move into changing your rituals, especially at nighttime. And that's not easy to do. I certainly struggle with that as well. So if you don't have a regular evening ritual, it might be really difficult to start to tap in to regulating your vagus nerve. So for better sleep, you've heard this many times, you want to eliminate as much technology as possible, at least 1 hour before going to bed. Really work on this. My suggestion is try to do something physical that is low grade physicality. For example, rolling, right? So you have the roller. I've talked to you about the roller many times. You can roll. You can do some gentle stretches. Do something physical that helps to calm your body down. Don't do anything super hyper, because it's actually going to hype up your system. The other thing is really try not to eat at least 3 hours before going to bed. And instead, try to get into a practice of having a delicious cup of tea, even in the summertime. You know, tea in Ayurvedic medicine is considered a cold food. When you drink tea, it cools your body down. And some of you might know this already. So try to integrate a practice of having a delicious cup of tea. Try not to add any milk to it. If you want to do a little bit of almond milk or oat milk, that's much better. But try not to do any cow milk into any of your products, really, but especially not a tea before going to bed. Now, this might sound counterintuitive for some cultures who actually encourage hot milk before going to bed. Actually, hot milk can actually help to deregulate your vagus nerve before going to bed. So find a tea that has soothing qualities, right? And that can help you to just really relax prior to going to bed. Also, start to practice what we talked about before, is this deep breathing. So as you're rolling, as you're stretching, try to get yourself into a deep breathing pattern. I strongly recommend you start to practice inhaling, exhaling through the nose only. And the reason for this is because it really helps to pull in more oxygen throughout your entire system, which in turns helps to regulate your vagus nerve. Also, something you might not be aware of, gargling with warm water. You can also add a little bit of salt in your water, but your gargling, that really helps to soothe and regulate the vagus nerve. Also, humming. We did a little bit of that last week. There's a technique that is encouraged out there, which is to use use VOO, VOO, as a way to relax your nervous system. So you would say VOO. You could go different tones. I don't know if VOO is different than moo, is different than boo. I'm not so sure why the V, but the idea is to have a vibrational frequency occurring in your throat throughout your vocal cords to help to regulate the vagus nerve. So gargling with warm water, you can add a little salt if you like, and certainly humming. Another one that's super important, laughter. If you can laugh, you really help to regulate and stimulate your vagus nerve. It calms your body down. Everybody knows this. If you've ever had a good, hearty belly laugh, and ask yourself right now, or share with us, when was the last time you had a really hearty belly laugh? You know, when we have those, we really, we kind of get exhausted, right? It's exhausting. Like we get tired out. I had a couple of really great, long lasting, uncontrollable laughter fits this past weekend. And it was amazing. And it really helped to relax my body because you can almost not breathe. You're laughing so heartily. And so there is actual scientific data that supports this. But I'm not so sure that I need the scientific data, because when I laugh out loud, and if I laugh for an extended amount of time, my whole system calms down. It's actually a little bit like a physical workout, isn't it? So laughing is really good. Another thing that you can do to help you to regulate your vagus nerve is to start intaking probiotics. Add probiotics in your diet. So probiotics will look like either kombucha. I love kombucha, yogurt, sauerkraut, kimchi, pickles. And those foods help to create a very healthy bacteria in your intestines. And remember, we talked about the intestines, and that the vagus nerve actually moves through the entire body and is very much connected to the stomach and to your intestines. So if you can add some probiotics in your diet, that can be super helpful to regulate the vagus nerve. Also, cold water immersion. If you don't have access to a cold tub, you can take a cold shower Or what also works really well is if you just have a bowl of cold water and you can just dunk your face in it. It really helps to stimulate the vagus nerve and you'll feel much better. And that you can do before going to bed. That's very helpful. So don't worry about the cold water keeping you up. The cold water will help to stimulate your vagus nerve and help you have a better night's sleep. Also, I wanted to share with you, there's a few things that you can do touch-wise, massage-wise, to help you to stimulate the vagus nerve. And you can go on either side of your neck here, and you can just do some very gentle massage on the side. And you can move your neck around a little bit. Oh my God, every time I do that, I can feel all of my, well, actually, it just become hard for me to speak because I'm stimulating my vagus nerve just by gently massaging. Do it with me now and see if it'll work for you. Just very gently on either side of your neck, a little bit behind the jawbone right here. I have a pretty big jawbone, you can see, so it's easy. It's right behind on your neck here on either side. And just gently massaging on either side of your neck will really help to relax. You can do that in bed, right? You can be laying down in bed, gently massaging the side of your neck. Super helpful. And another one that's really great also is to massage your ears. Go around the top of your ears, around your ears, bottom of ears, your lobe. Pull your ears down a little bit. Pull your ears back a little bit. Yeah, that feels really good. You can also do a little bit of a massage over your eyebrows, right from the center of your nose here. You're just opening up over the eyes, just gently opening up around the eyebrows. That really helps to calm down your nervous system on the side of your temples. You can do a little bit of a rubbing here. Very simple things. And you can do these while you are in bed. So you don't need any extra equipment. Just very gentle movement, very gentle touch really helps. So around the neck, around the ears, as I said, around your eyebrows. Also, what are you thinking about prior to going to bed? If you're someone who has a very active mind, you might want to listen to a guided meditation before going to bed. You might want to listen to some really soothing music before going to bed. All of these really help to calm down your nervous system. And be mindful of your thoughts. One of the things that I really love to do when I go to bed at night, I do a very simple review of my day. I think about my day. And one of the mantras, I guess I can say, that I live by is I always try to leave a place, person, or situation better than I found it. That's my own personal relationship in my life. I do my best to leave a place, a person, or a situation better than I found it. And when I do that throughout my day, at the end of the day, when I'm laying in bed, I actually review, how did I leave any place, person, or situation better than I found it? And sometimes it requires an extra action from me. That's the part of acknowledgement in the 3-step system, right? Acknowledge, engage, support. How might I acknowledge with someone? Maybe it's a kind word. To do something that is beyond my own comfort zone. If I know that someone is struggling, that has issues with being, like, for example, in my gym environment, I'm someone who likes to go to the gym. I love my coach, my teacher, and I love the people in my class. And sometimes you can see that maybe someone had a hard day. I try to go beyond my place of comfort and to just say, hey, how are you doing? Not to get into a big analytical download of what's gone on, simply to acknowledge someone and to say hi, to engage with them. And sometimes it might be a little bit, something a little bit more. You might see something get a card for someone, say thank you. Always try to go beyond the call of duty. What might you do? And this all happens in a state of kindness. This is all about loving kindness. It's not about going out and buying something spectacular. It's more about your energy and your actions, and to be a super class act person. Because the more you engage with people in a way that is kind and that you go beyond what's expected of you, you will feel better about yourself. And when we feel better about ourselves, that helps to stimulate our vagus nerve. So we feel more relaxed. We feel like we've done something great. We're more in alignment with our purpose. So just to feel good about the actions that we take by going that extra mile or that extra, few feet, doing something that is really helpful and supportive to another will help us. It actually is a ricochet effect. It helps us in turn feel better about ourselves. So really, your thoughts and feelings, to check in with that at the end of the day. Make it a practice to do a short review of your day, and then notice, were you able to connect with others throughout the day? Connection with nature and with other human beings is one of the best ways to calm down your nervous system and to regulate your vagus nerve. We can never do things on our own. We need other people to grow, to thrive. Don't underestimate the power of connecting with people. Does that make sense? I just want to check in here and give you a chance to share. Let's see. Pranjal. Liz says, I kept yawning during the gentle massage. Yes, great. So that means that you're stimulating your vagus nerve. Thank you for sharing that, Liz. And then Henry says, when I was a kid, my mom loved to relax my vagus nerve by pulling my ears. Awesome. Beautiful. So it works, right? So all of these techniques that our parents might have used also, that's really sweet that your mom would pull your ears, because she might not have known anything about the vagus nerve, but she knew that if she did that, it would help to calm you down. And finally, one of the things I wanted to share with you that you might not know is laying down on the right side of your body. Laying down when you go to sleep at night, lay down on the right side of your body might help to stimulate your vagus nerve, because you are sleeping, excuse me, you are sleeping on the side of your liver when you lie down on your right side. And the liver is the organ in your body that regenerates throughout the night. And so it might help your system to actually regulate itself by first initially trying to sleep on your right side, and also put a pillow between your knees. So putting a pillow between your knees really helps to elevate and balance out your hips. And so when your hips are balanced out and they're not compressed, when there's a little bit of space between the knees, that helps to balance the hips. Actually, it helps the vagus nerve have more space throughout the digestive system, throughout your lower intestine. So try these things and see if they might help with getting you prepared for sleep, so that you might have a better night's sleep, so that you might increase your vagal tone, right? You have more tone in your vagus nerve. So when we have tonicity, that actually helps for blood flow to move through the body more effectively. And if you have more body flowing through your body, then more blood flowing through your body, rather, it really helps to kind of create highways of energy, right? So even though you're sleeping, your body is working a ton during sleep. So don't think that because you're sleeping that nothing's going on in your body. There's a lot going on in your body when you're sleeping. Okay, let's see. Anything else I want to share with you from my notes? I think we're good for today. I think I've gone through what I wanted to share with you. Chelsea says, amazing. I always sleep on my right side. Beautiful. Elise says, I think that doing for others and feeling gratitude stimulate the vagus in a positive way. Thank you, Elise. Yes. So what do we do as a team? What are we doing? Well, we write our gratitudes every day on our Duchenne Method Facebook group page. So we are already participating in this. And I want to continue to encourage you to participate, to write your gratitudes in the Facebook group page, to practice these simple acts of kindness throughout the day. Make sure that you slowly start to change your nutrition so that you're eating fresher, better foods. Make sure you're drinking fresh juices. Getting a juicer is one of the best investments you can make. So if you are living a healthy life during the daytime, chances are that by the end of the day, you will be able to regulate your system and really have a great night's sleep, which really helps to repair, reset, rejuvenate your entire system. Don't take it for granted, because as time passes and as we age, things start to shift in our bodies. That's a normal process of being alive. If you want to live a healthy life, manage your vagus nerve proactively. Make sure that you say loving, gentle words of kindness to yourself. And these are ongoing practices that you will be doing throughout the rest of your life. Certainly, that's what I'm doing in my life. So, because I want to share more of this with you and your loved ones, I want to invite you to check out my 4-month online program. This is a mind-body alignment program where I am teaching, I'm going much deeper into embodiment practices, self-awareness practices. We're going to have an entire month only on the art of mindful communication. How can you increase the quality of your life, of your relationships, through developing better language, non-violent language, how to manage yourself better with your own self-talk. I'm teaching an entire module on the philosophy of possibility. The philosophy of possibility is a very important system that I have constructed over the years to maintain a level of optimism and positivity in your life so that you might get more out of your life: mind, body, emotions, and spirit. And finally, I take some time to really go deep into developing compassionate practices so that we can build a stronger community around us. So take a look at my sales page. Maybe you can put the information on Nelson. artofalignmentacademy.com. That's my website. You can click on the top of the website and there's a link there to the program. Of course, if you would like to refer anyone to me and they want to ask me questions, please have them sign up for my 30-minute complimentary consultation. You can also find that on my website. You can join my newsletter if you haven't. Invite your friends to join my newsletter. I talk about all things mind-body alignment. And then, of course, if you need some private support, personal support, you can always reach out and make an appointment through my website again for a coaching session. Or if you're in Manhattan and you would like to get a mind-body alignment manual therapy, a Hellerwork structural integration session, I strongly encourage to come by and see me. If you have any questions, please reach out. I'm right here. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, I invite you to do so that you might stay tuned as to what I'm talking about on a weekly basis. And please share with your friends, share with people who might benefit from this. This is all completely 100% free education, which is what is very popular and possible now. Don't let your friends get away with not learning more about how their bodies work. Invite them to join us on Mondays or to go to my YouTube channel and to look at the videos so that they might start to understand that they are the masters, mistresses of their own health. We don't need to run to the doctor every single time something is off. We have the most amazing pharmacology within our bodies. So, my friends, thank you for being here today. I hope this was helpful. Please leave some comments if you have any questions. I always welcome and appreciate them. And I will see you next week, where we are going to talk again about another aspect of the vagus nerve. I wish you a wonderful week. Much love to you all. See you next week. Bye, everyone.